What is up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to the Selflish Podcast. I am your host, Luke Wynn, with my beautiful co-host,
Dayana Wynn.
How you doing today, baby?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. Can I tell you something?
What?
Can I tell you something, please? Tú eres mi personal favorita, mi amor.
That's so cute.
Mucho gusto.
Mi persona.
What did I say?
Mi personal.
Because you are my personal favorite.
You're right. Dude.
Yeah,
I see
exactly.
what you did there. You're so
It's
smart.
called Spanglish. Ever heard of it?
Yes. Use it all the time.
Yeah. I tell Ellie all the time to eat poquito pollo. See?
You're getting there, baby.
I'm almost there. I'm like,
Almost.
I'm this ready to go to Mexico. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Tell me about your day. You're like, I love how you always answer good. Like
Good.
Ellie. I be trying to start a conversation and stuff like that, like get the energy flowing.
Okay, ask me again.
Okay. ¿Cómo está, mi amor?
I'm a little tired.
And the truth comes out. Why are you tired?
I got a baby, and we're trying to get all this stuff done. And all of you moms know, the ones with the newborns, I'm just tired.
Yeah.
And we just have a lot going on right now, I think.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
But I'm really excited. I'm tired and excited.
I'm not going to lie. Just seeing how much work you have to do, I get exhausted. That's like at the end of the day, when you want my help, I'm like too tired to help you because I'm like constantly watching you, and I'm just like, yo, this is exhausting. What are you doing? You're doing way too much work.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I dedicate this day, May 20, whatever we are. We'll say 28th.
Oh, 28th?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, 28th.
Yeah, May 28th to Mom of the Year Day for Dayana.
Isn't it the 29th, baby?
It will be the 29th, yes.
No, it's the 29th.
May 29th, I hereby dedicate to you as Mom of the Year Day.
Thanks.
You're so welcome.
Have a whole day.
So, it's been a week since we last talked to you guys.
Yes.
And since then, we have had a photo shoot. What were you going to say?
Nothing.
We've had a photo shoot, and how'd you think it went?
It was great.
I thought it was stellar.
Fun. It was
magnanimous.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a word that sounds cooler than yours, but I can't.
That's why when you go to black churches, they use hecka big words for no reason. Because God is no longer good. He's gargantuan,
It was Magnifigiant. Okay.
Magnifigiant, huh? Yo, last week was Magnifigiant, my G. What was so magnifigiant about the photo shoot, baby? You should have said something in Spanish. That would have killed. You could have said grande, and I would have been like, yo, that's dope. She said something big.
You're so dumb.
But now you're stuck with Magnifigiant.
Okay, anyways, it was amazing.
No, it's too late. Why was it Magnifigiant in your opinion?
So the reason why it was Magnifigiant, it was because it was just so great.
I'm going to name this podcast Magnifigiant, by the way.
It was so great, you guys. And I just felt like there was just so much support from a lot of people. All the models were amazing. You guys are all so great, so sweet.
Amazing.
Teeny, just some friends that just came
Jennifer,
through.
the photographer, she
Yes,
killed that. Yvette.
Yeah, everybody, honestly. Everybody was so cool. We really appreciate everybody. I had fun. It was fun having everybody and hosting. It was like the first time we had ever had that many people over at our house. It was really exciting.
Yes, and we did social distance. And when we weren't, we made sure hand sanitizer was on everybody's hands every 7 minutes.
Yes.
Because we're smart.
And and it was just magnificent because everybody did a great job. The models were amazing. It was like they had done this a million times before.
Yeah, it was dope. It was really fun. We had kids there. We had so many different people from different ethnicities,
Yes,
different
that
shapes and
was
sizes,
awesome.
different
I
age
love
groups.
that.
Yeah, it was just everybody, because that's what Selflish is about. You got to love yourself regardless of who you are, regardless of where you're from, whether you have guns like these or you don't, you know.
Or guns like these. They hang a little.
You know what this means? This means at the barbecues, at the church picnics, she's killing it. That's what that means. Trust in her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but it was really dope. The podcast that we did, by the way, we did a couple podcasts that day. So today, which is Friday, we're going to be releasing those podcasts as well. So it was really good. Some great conversations. It was just fun, you know. All the people there we've known for years. So it was awesome. And we're that much closer to getting the website out. Mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. Next Friday, guess what happens?
What?
Next Friday, we gotta look in the camera. Next Friday, the Selflish website will officially launch. Okay? And it's gonna be called www.weareselflish.com. The reason why I did that was because for some reason Selflish was already taken. Selflish.com was taken. It was like by an internet server or something like that. So we came up with the word. I don't know what that was. But weareselflish.com. It's going to launch midnight next Friday. And we're excited about that.
So excited. So get ready. Start just imagining yourself with one of these hoodies, one of these tank tops, because it's getting real hot out there, you guys. And, you know, you got to just shine bright out
Indeed.
there.
Yeah, so pre-orders and the website launches next week. So we're really excited about this. This is our third episode, so everybody who's been supporting you, we got to give you a round of applause.
Thank you.
All you guys have been supporting us. I think I said you. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's late when we do these. We've been in this room for like 4 hours, though, but life and babies. Anyways, are you ready to get started?
I am.
Any other announcements before we get started? Okay, cool.
I think so.
So we have a little game that we're going to play first.
I love games.
Because this worked out very well last year.
Oh, yeah.
Last week. Okay, so 2 lies and a truth.
You go first.
Okay. 2 lies and a truth. Let's see. Okay.
Give me the lies.
No, I'm gonna give you the lie or the truth first. You will never know. Actually, you might know. Okay. 1, I would pee in the bed until I was 16. 2, I once, you know, in that same vein, I once pooped on myself before a road trip. And 3, I might as well just go for the gold. These are the most random ones ever. And the third one is, I once had a dirty diaper thrown into my face. What is the lie?
The dirty diaper thrown into your face.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the lie.
But it was supposed to be 2 lies, right?
No, it was 2 truths and 1 lie.
Oh.
So, yeah, my truths are really weird. I have no idea.
Who threw a dirty diaper in your face?
That seems more believable than peeing in the bed till you're 16. No. It doesn't. That doesn't sound any more believable. Well, now the world knows.
I know a few people who.
I think she was just not looking back at me in the camera.
I don't know. Whoever. Maybe he's watching. I mean, or she.
Okay. So your turn. Your truth and a lie.
Okay. So 2 truths and a lie?
Yes.
2 truths and a lie?
Yes.
2 truths.
She's so busy judging me, she didn't even think about her. So let's see what you just poop out.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm thinking, but maybe it's because we have a baby. Go on.
Okay. When I was little, I used to love eating gum off of the floor. And my other truth, I mean...
Go on. Even though we literally talk about that, the first truth, like 2 days ago.
Okay.
1 truth and 1 lie. Go on.
Okay. I love the taste of ginger.
Go on.
It's so delicious.
And the lie.
And
Go on with the lie.
And I have had clay cookies before.
Oh, this is actually that sounds like 3 truths to me.
Okay.
Am I right? No, that's it. 3 truths. Nothing that you just said was a lie. Because first of all, you still eat gum off the floor.
You're such a liar. Please
Secondly,
clarify that. No, I
secondly,
don't. I used to.
Like for some reason,
I did for a little bit when I was little.
She makes something called tea, and it's literally just ginger boiled.
Actually, that's
with like basil leaves.
Shows how much attention.
Okay, so clay cookies. She literally told me that while she was pregnant, she was craving clay. Like she just wanted to eat clay. So, do I believe you've had
not
clay?
My fault.
Okay.
I had my iron was low. That's common.
To start craving clay?
I guess dirt and clay.
Okay. Anyways, so I'll say the lie is that you love ginger. You don't love it, but you really like it.
Actually, it's not true. Oh yeah, it is. That was a lie.
So do you hate you?
I don't love ginger.
She doesn't love it. She likes it.
Okay, so I think the taste of ginger by itself, like the actual root, like it's so gross. I hate it. I hate when I go to sushi. It tastes like soap to me. But I like it in tea. But I make the
which
tea.
is just boiled water and basil leaves.
No, that's what tea is. Like it's like tea.
My tea is herbal.
Yeah, that's exactly.
With peppermint in it. I don't know what yours is.
Mine is ginger and cinnamon, you guys. It's great. Try it for whenever you're bloated. Oh my gosh, it does wonders. It keeps your tummy like looking flatter and stuff. So for all you anyone who wants just a little tip to look a little bit slimmer.
Yeah, she likes the cinnamon sticks that are like this long.
No.
She breaks them in half. She breaks them, and then she throws it into the pot. She gets a water hose and she puts it into the pot.
No, I don't.
And then she gets a boatload of ginger and puts it there.
Anyways, yeah, it's really good.
I learned nothing about you. Did you learn anything about me just now?
No.
We already said that was gonna be hard because we know
better.
everything. I don't think that there's a good lie that I could tell that she would believe because she knows way too much about me.
And we pay attention to detail a lot. Both of us do.
Especially her. Okay.
But so do you. Okay. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, I think now what we should talk about. Okay, so today's topic, because I know everybody's like, oh my gosh, Luke, what topic are you guys going to get into? Because you guys be getting into some good topics. Today's topic, we're going to talk about selfish love in regards to your culture. Okay? Mm-hmm. So there's a few things that's been happening this week, culturally related. And I was just like, I had a different topic in mind for the podcast today, but then I was like, no, let's switch it up. So, okay, so basically when I say selfish love, in regards to your culture, I say loving your own culture and also loving other cultures, right?
Of course.
Like loving your race, but also loving your race too, you know? Mm-hmm. Like that's what self-love is selfish is all about. It's about
loving your race, but also loving other races.
Yeah, it's like, I think a lot of times we do pro-love and pro-black and stuff like that, or pro-white or whatever we're pro.
Or pro-brown.
And sometimes some people take it as, oh, you're crapping on other races and cultures, and that's not the case. Because really, it's like I can love my race and love us and stand for what we believe, while also loving others, you know. And honestly, like we're in an interracial relationship, even though I don't really think about that. Like that's not something that like is in my mind, but it's like I love being black and I love my culture and I love your culture just as much, you know.
Me too.
Jeez Louise, look at this. This is a woman who spent her childhood watching Save the Last Dance. I love your culture too. No, but yeah, I think a lot of times in cultures we tend to hate on ourselves. Like we like divide ourselves up. And I keep saying culture, race, ethnicity, but we kind of divide ourselves, you know. Let me see. I want to jump ahead. Let me see what our first point is. Yeah, so a lot of times it's in the black culture, and this is something that we've always known. It's always like the light skin versus the dark skins have always been like a thing, you know?
Yeah. Like
the light skinned blacks versus the dark skinned blacks, you know, the house slaves versus the field slaves. I'm saying that instead of saying the N word. But just how proper you are, how hood you are, these divides constantly cause us to be like there to be friction within our own race, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And it sucks because a lot of times that may feel how somebody feels a certain type of way about their race, you know, which is why you do see some people who, if they grow up proper, go to proper schools, have all white friends, and then they finally get around black people. Sometimes it's like there's this thing of not being black enough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So and it just seems like a lot. Sometimes it seems that because of that rejection from their own race, they do assimilate even more because it seems like they want to go where they're embraced, you know. And you told me that that is similar in the Mexican race too, right, or the Hispanic community.
What?
Just that issue between not being Hispanic enough or the being prettier, the lighter you are versus the darker you are and stuff like that, and those stigmas that go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you expound?
Well, I'm just a little bit confused about what you were saying. Like, who are the ones in the culture, or who are the ones that you usually? What people are the ones that usually get pushed?
It's just a push. So it's like
But which
like who's superior in the race?
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly,
Because
it literally just depends on where you're at. For example, if I grew up in a proper school, right, and I go to school with all black kids, then I go to a high school I go to a school with all white kids.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to a high school that has all black kids.
Okay.
I'm gonna be inferior to them because I'm not gonna be black enough. But so that doesn't make sense.
Yes, but at the same time, I've also seen how those people that go
No, let me get to my next point, right? So then, fast forward 10 years, now the proper guy, and there's a bunch of other proper black people who have become these attorneys, lawyers, judges, and stuff like that. And that same hood dude who was, you know, the man in high school, he's now still hood. He's gonna be looked down on by that group. So it's a constant friction, you know, like based on like how people act, how people are raised, and stuff like that. To where like everybody has like their nose like just turned up towards them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it goes both ways. It's not just I don't think there's not a constant thing because that same lawyer can go back around to the hood and they be like, oh, you a square, you this, you know.
Yeah.
So does that happen in the Hispanic community?
Honestly, mostly what I have seen is, there's a lot of hate between like Hispanics. Like I see a lot of like Salvadorians and Mexicans have beef, and they get really offended if you call like a Salvadorian a Mexican or a Mexican a Salvadorian, or anyone from like Chile or Honduras or any other Latin American country, or any, like, they get offended when you call them like they'll be like, oh, are you Mexican? They get so offended. I am not. Or are you Salvadoran? Oh, heck no. Are you from Honduras? Oh my gosh, no. Like everybody gets super, like, I've just seen that somehow it's like a weird, like a bad thing. Like when you get, it's really weird. And that's one of the things I've seen. I've also seen how also just within the cultures, and I've seen this I've been mostly around like people from El Salvador, Honduras, and stuff like that, Central America. But I have definitely seen how I think we all have a story. They all have a story, and they come to the United States because we are in the United States, which is a country that is a lot richer and wealthier in so many areas. And I have seen how a lot of, once we're here, once we come here, it's almost like it's kind of like a race to see who becomes wealthier, or whoever has the more money, or whoever made it climbed up the ladder higher, or whatever. Like they start looking down on other, like on the ones that are still working those like minimum paid jobs, or you know what I'm saying, or the people who finally got, like, they got papers, they have residency, or they become citizens. A lot of times they'll look down on the people who are still here illegally, or stuff like that. Or even, it's just a big deal. And I'm not sure if it's just in the Hispanic culture or whatever, that also kids, like, oh, my kid is here. Oh yeah. Oh, did you see that? My kid is in college. Because a lot of the times, like, a lot of like Hispanic kids don't end up going to college because and then that's a whole nother, I could just go down that road and just, it'll take me forever, but they just don't. So whenever you have the kids that do or whatever, that do excel in school, that's like a huge thing, and they look down on the other kids, and it's really, really interesting to see that. And they just put each other down. We put each other down a lot. And then also when it comes to color, something that I thought it was just in the Mexican culture, but I guess it's now that I'm older, I see that it's everywhere. When it comes to skin color, like even the shade, like shades and stuff like that, like shades of skin, I guess, which is really, really crazy. I know a lot of my girls, my brown girls, can totally relate, because I've seen it, and I'm brown, I'm not, and I grew up hearing, oh, because she's really light skinned, and she has the colored eyes, or just the fact that she's really like light and really, really fair, really pale or whatever. She's so pretty. And that's all you hear is like, oh my God, did you see? She's really, really, like, she's really light. She's so pretty. That's like something that I would always hear. That was one of the first things that they would say to describe beauty. And that still goes on. And then there's the güerita, for those of you who speak Spanish know what that means. There's the güerita, which is light skinned girl, and then there's a lot, I hate this word, but prieta, they call this prieta, and it's honestly like an offensive word to call someone dark skin. It's like, but it's really offensive. Like, honestly, they use that word as in, like, it's an offensive word. It's a mean word. Or prieto, or stuff like that. Or they're like, oh, I don't like him because he's really dark. Like, that's such a thing. Literally, people will literally say, oh, I don't know, she's really dark, and oh yeah, she's really light, so she's really cute. And it's really, really offensive, and it's really hurtful. It was really hurtful to grow up hearing all those things, and thinking I'm automatically less pretty because I'm tan, because I'm a little bit darker, or because I'm just darker. And you grow up being afraid to go out in the sun because you're gonna get darker. Then, like, you're already tan, and then you're gonna get even more dark. Then, oh my gosh, that sucks. Like, you're gonna be even darker. And you hear comments. I literally would hear comments like, oh, you look really dark. And like, they would say it like in a negative kind of way, and then you have, it's just like that, those things. Like, we grew up just hating on each other, hating within.
You hate yourself too.
And it's horrible.
There was this some random rapper on this Vlad TV. It's this show on YouTube, and he said that he wasn't gonna get with a black woman who was like as dark as him because he didn't want to have any black babies.
I've heard that.
He was like, I'm already so dark. Why would I want to bring an even darker baby into this world? And it's just like, it sucks because it's like, obviously there's like scars there. There's a lot of self-hate that he has for himself and for how he looks. And also, he may have been even teased and bullied for how dark he was by his peers growing up. So like, because of that trauma and because of those circumstances, he's for real like, you know what, let me go get me a white woman so that this baby won't have to endure the pain that I had to endure because of my skin color, And it sucks because that's almost like a real thing. And I've never actually, I've never been one to be like, hate who I was as far as my skin color and stuff like that. But you always knew like there was a difference, like me and my boy Ricky, we always joke like we're both light skinned and everything like that. But I'm not like classically light skinned, like in school, it's like I have red undertones. Light skinned people have yellow undertones, So it's like when you look at like people like Chris Brown, right? Like my brother back in middle school, my brother would get up all the girls and they'd be like, oh, you look like Chris Brown. You look like that dude from Something Yard, Jay. Oh. Yeah, so like because of his similarities to the light-skinned dude who was popping at the time, he was getting girls, That is so funny. And it's just like in middle school, we don't realize how like just as a young age, we don't realize how like our society, it kind of like brainwashes us into what that image of beauty is, Is that, even you were watching that thing on, I think, SWV with Tasha and Adrian Bailon and stuff like that, and how like it was weird for her being in that group because of how dark skinned she was too, So like we really came from that era where that it was a thing, and it's like it. Even if you go back in the day, like all those old singers in the 50s and stuff like that, the lighter you were, the better, because on TV you didn't appear to be that light. So there was people who actually would go to those shows back in the day, like Motown shows, and there'd be white people who show up. and realize, oh my gosh, this person is black, and be upset at the entire concert because on the radio they heard a nice voice, they see a really light picture that looks like a white person or whatever, and then they go to the show and then it's like, what in the world, you know? So there's always been that competition to try to be lighter, and like lighter is better, you know? And it's, I would say this last decade it's really started to shift. Obviously there's been like anomalies throughout it, where it's like, you know, you got like Wesley Snipes, Michael Jordan, all these dark skinned figures who are popping and stuff like that. But really it seemed like for women it just now started to happen. Like the darker you are, it's fine, you know, like within like the last 10 years, where there's been like this huge empowerment surge on natural hair, natural beauty, you know, embracing who you are and stuff. Because it's such a big deal. And it's like growing up black, we heard about the letter about, you know, dividing the house slaves and stuff like that, and the field slaves. But, you know, now that I'm older, I see that even like in India, they have like creams and stuff like that to make yourself look lighter.
They have those everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, I mean like in that community. So it's like, we think that, like growing up, we think it's literally just a black thing that became because of slavery, but the entire world is brainwashed into thinking that like lighter or whiter is perfection and superiority, and it's so crazy like that, you know.
And what sucks is that, I don't know if we're getting a little bit off topic now, speaking about color, that it's still, that mentality obviously is still there because of look what just happened this week.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry to bring this like word up, but it's like the racism because of color, like just the color.
Yeah, like
the
somebody,
color of your skin, like somebody loses their life because of it, and it's not like, and like I said, we could also go in way deeper into all that, but it's so sad.
We're gonna talk about that today.
It's so sad how that's still like such a strong thing right now. Like it's such, because you're of your skin color. It's just so crazy. I sometimes literally sit there and think like, who came up with this rule? Like, who made this up? Why? Like, why? What is it? Like, when did humans start looking at color and just decided that brown people, dark people were less than white people?
It's crazy because
pale people, light people.
If you like had a scale for like, and I think the Family Guy did this, right? Like, but if you have like a scale from like whitest to darkest shades, it's like there's an innate fear that goes in the darker you are, you know? It's like there's a fear and like a lesser that comes on. And it's so ironic because if we look back to like slavery and stuff like that, there was a bunch of Africans who were minding their own business, you know, in Africa, doing their own thing, hunting, living off the land. And then like, you know, Europeans and they come in and they enslave these people. But then we're told that the Africans are the descendants of these Africans are the ones who are just bad. You know, they're like these horrible people. They're brutes and stuff like that, you know. But they're the ones who literally went and decided to enslave humans. Like, that's a crazy concept, because in order to have an idea of enslaving humans, there has to be something warped with your mentality. But how do you enslave a group of people and then hundreds of years later make those group of people out to be like these horrible people? And not only that, but they feel that way too, where there's self-hate in that community, you know, which brings us back to just being selfish. And like we said early on in this podcast, is like, we have to embrace and love ourselves. Like, as a community, as each race, as a culture, it's important for us to embrace and love who we are, and embrace everybody who's within the community too. You know, because we divide ourselves up, like there's not enough love being spread to where we can be unified. Because if this dude come in, he's corny. If this dude, he talks white. If this dude, he thinks he's better than everybody, so we don't deal with him. So we hate each other based on our own things. We're never gonna have that glue that matches us together. And then it's like we wait till these tragedies happen to finally be unified again. But then what happens afterwards? If I didn't like my brother, if I didn't love my brother just for who he was, whether he be a drug addict, whether it be a gangbanger, whether it be a lawyer, a doctor, if I didn't love him for whatever reason before this tragedy happens, once all the hype passes by and then there's the next thing, what's gonna cause me to love them then? You know? There has to be a love that we have for our internally, for our cultures. Like an unconditional love, regardless, because it's like everybody steps on everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I was talking to my cousin the other day, and he was like saying just about how like being black is like we're crabs in a barrel. We're just walking on top. We act like we have to stomp on top of each other in order to do better in life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily the case. We can love each other and help build each other up, because we're not crabs in a barrel, you know. We're on a different playing field, and we're on a completely different plane.
Mm-hmm.
And if we did get together more often, more frequently, and stop shaming each other for our differences in beliefs, our differences in the way we are, our habits, we would be stronger.
Yeah, I totally believe that, and I believe that the same. It works the same for the Hispanic community.
Yeah.
Community, um, like like we were saying, yeah, a lot of people here they move, they come over to the United States, and it's just like classism is just
Yeah.
such a huge deal. In, at least I know in Mexico it is, and I
It's
heard
the
of
new,
from
yeah.
it's like
It's
a thing, like it's always been a thing, like in Mexico. I know that for sure. And it's like, and then they have, we're born in Mexico, or we're in Mexico with that mentality. And then if we do have the opportunity to come over to this country, we still come here with that mentality. Therefore, whenever we do get a little bit of money, or we do get that car of our dreams, or that car that we always wanted, or become really rich or whatever,
Yeah.
like all of a sudden we're gonna have that mentality. So we're gonna start looking down on other people, you know. And then a lot of times I've seen how the people that don't ever really get to climb up, but I've seen there's a lot of parents that come here, and then they just work hard all their lives. I've seen it for their kids, but they always stay working as janitors, working as like the cooks that nobody knows, you know what I mean. It just, and seeing them, and they're amazing people, like humble people and stuff like that. And I've seen, like, in their attitude, that they literally look at the floor, like they see you, and or they see other people that are Hispanic or whatever, and then they look at them, and they automatically they put their head down, and they're like, yeah, like I feel like they just feel less, because it's like in the back of their mind, because I know it's like, that a lot of the people kind of think like that, like they have that mentality, like, oh, I'm low key, like, look, I'm good, I'm up here, like I made it, like. And I've also seen how a lot of those people in high school, I would see kids that were ashamed to speak Spanish. A lot of kids were ashamed to hang out with like the Mexican group, or anyone who spoke Spanish. They were like ashamed, and they only wanted to hang out with like white kids.
Wow.
And they wanted to dress like the white kids, and they would talk about them, and just kind of like, they were like ashamed. I've seen it so many times, and it's really, really sad. It's really sad to see that.
Yeah, it sucks. It's like there really has to be a complete cultural shift, because I think the culture of society just, there's these, we find a reason to be better than the next person, you know?
Yeah.
Like you said, classism is almost the new racism in America, because racism is still there. But when segregated ended and everybody had to go to the same schools, the white people just uprooted themselves, and now it's like they go in places that are too expensive for the black people to afford, you know, so that they can't move over there. So therefore, they're still going to be in the black area, because they can't afford to go over there, you know. So it's a way of continuously dividing, and it sucks, because then if you are the black person whose parents, if your parents were able to make it to a different class, and then all of a sudden you become surrounded by white people, you are assimilating, and then you end up having, you know, being whitewashed, you know. So it's like, it's the weirdest thing, because it's like we all want to make it out, but then when they make it out, we want to push each other down, you know, at least in the black community. We want to pull you down.
I see that often.
Yeah, and switching up speeds. Okay, so one of the racial things that happened this week, first one we're going to talk about, is Doja Cat. Evidently, she said some racist things. I don't know if it was true or not, but allegedly she was in a racist chat line where people were like saying the N-word, and she was like laughing at it. She likes to be called the N-word when she's, you know, with white people, blah, blah, blah. Whether that's true or not, I think the bigger issue is the fact that, the bigger thing is the fact that we're in an interracial relationship, and we just had a daughter. And I think like I think it's I think the one thing because me and you we get along so well because we're always so interested in sociology, anthropology, those classes in college and stuff. Because we're really fascinated with just the human race and just different cultures and ethnicities and stuff like that. So, but I say that to say, like, people like Faith who grow up and have two completely different worlds, right? She's gonna have one world that completely speaks Spanish, one world that's Mexican. That whole culture, she engulfs it, and at the same time, she's gonna engulf this entire Black culture. You know, she's gonna engulf the swag. You know, she's gonna look. No, so she's gonna have all this stuff, and a lot of times, if done incorrect, if raised incorrectly, she can start to hate one side or the other based on the seeds that are planted by her parents, by her grandparents, and by those people who are around her.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you have thought about like making sure that she embraces who she is completely and loves who she is completely, like as she grows up? What's one thing that you've thought about? No, there she is. We said her name, and here she is. Well, you can pick her up. Yeah, you can pick her up. I'll keep talking though. Yeah, cause one of my best friends, she's mixed, and she had a lot of hate about her Black side from the white side of her family, and it was almost like there were certain things about her that they disliked just because of that, you know. And that's something that I'm conscious of. I'm not naive to the fact that there's going to be moments in her life where she wants to relate, and then people are going to treat her like that. Oh, because she's not going to be Black enough, nor will she be Mexican enough, you know? She's going to be this in between, like this little bundle, you know? So what do you think? Like, in what way have you thought of making sure she embraces and loves who she is completely?
That's a really good question. I don't think I had thought into that like too much because I think I automatically just because I just hadn't thought about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
What about you?
There's a lot, honestly. I think for me taking, like I said, for me taking all these cultural classes and stuff like that, one thing that's important is language, because language is pretty much how your culture is passed through. You know, there's certain jokes that you get in Spanish that I don't get because they only make sense in Spanish. You know, you guys have a lot of weird metaphors. So with that, her learning Spanish is going to help her to enable to maintain who she is and love and have a love for who she is, you know, and be a part of that. Because you can see now, like, she's already mixed. So imagine being in a situation where she's with her cousins in like 10 years, everybody's speaking Spanish and she's not speaking Spanish. There's a part of it that's going to feel left out, you know? So I think her learning Spanish, I think, is going to be really important for her to embrace who she is totally. And also her just, I think also us loving her and letting her know that, you know, yes, you're Mexican, but you're Black too. You know, and that's literally what Selflish is. I love you and I love me too, you know. She has two sides of her that she's going to have to embrace and love. And I think just showing, I think not shaming her, you know, because a lot of times the Black community, what we do is, oh, that's so ghetto. Oh, that's ghetto. Why are you doing that? You know, you don't have to teach your child by shaming other habits that other Black people or ghetto people do, you know. There's a way to teach through empowerment, you know? Like, oh, you're a beautiful Black woman. Black women are strong. Black women have invented so much, you know? And also you're a Mexican woman at the same time, you know? And then you can show her that side, because I don't know much about that. I mean, I know some stuff, you know, but I don't want to start doing stereotypes. Like, like your mom, she used to be a housekeeper. No, you weren't a housekeeper, you would clean. But without embracing this, without like just doing stereotypes, there's a way of communicating with her, you know, and letting her know like about that awareness early on. Like you're beautiful exactly who you are, and it's like don't let nobody say you're not Black enough or you're not Mexican enough because you're Black and Mexican, you know. What do you think?
I just think that all that comes to my mind honestly is just trying to be that parent, trying to be those parents that just always cheer her on and everything, and just making sure that the group of people that are speaking to her and stuff like that are also clear about and believe the same thing that we do.
Yeah.
Like making sure that, like you said, just making sure that she speaks both languages. That's something that I told you actually, that I, since before she was born, joking around, I was like, well, you better learn how to speak Spanish, because she's only going to she's going to learn English regardless once she starts school, but she's going to be speaking Spanish as her first language. Otherwise, she's not going to want to learn it later on. Yeah. And I think just doing my job, making sure that she doesn't, just like the whole stereotypes. Like I don't even know how to answer this question. It's kind of hard for me right now because I hadn't thought about it. But I think just showing the fact that you love both cultures,
and showing the beauty of both cultures,
the beauty, yes, and showing respect.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it goes down to. Showing respect for both cultures.
Yeah,
I think teaching her how to have respect. No one is better than the other one. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're both amazing in their own ways.
Exactly, and I think that's going to be the key thing, because if I beef up her black side and then downgrade her Mexican side to her, she's gonna be completely like conflicted internally. Like, oh, Dad said when I do that I act so Mexican, so I don't want to do that. You know, and vice versa. If you're just like, you sound black when you say that, she's gonna like she looks up to us. So us saying comments like that is gonna automatically make her feel some kind of way about who she is. So she'll watch what she says when she's around you. You know. I think it's really important. Like, that self-awareness, because you don't want her to be in a situation where it's like, whether Doja Cat is or isn't, I would hate for her to despise the black side of her to the point where she completely assimilates away from that. She only hangs around Mexicans. She never deals with black people, and she actually looks down at black people, and vice versa. I don't want her to feel that way about Mexican either.
Or even the way she looks too.
Yeah.
Because she's so little, we don't know what she's gonna look like. You know what I'm saying?
Right now she looks pink.
Because she's mixed. Yeah, we don't really know what she's gonna look like. So I think even that's a huge thing for women, I've noticed. And even the way that she looks, like it's really important to teach her that if she looks this way or this way, she's gonna be beautiful regardless. Yeah. And she can't, if she gets this part from this culture, or this, just this look from here, or whether it's the hair or the skin or whatever, like for her not to feel like she's less than or more than what, like either of her cultures, because she has those looks or whatever, you know.
And I think that's really, I think she's in good hands, honestly. I don't mean to brag, but she just has two people
She's literally in good hands.
I think a lot of times what happens in interracial relationships, people find the exception. Oh, you're not like other black people. That's why I like you. You're not like the rest of them.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I think and vice versa. And I hate that.
It's so ignorant, like, of people like me or people like that are not black to say those things.
Or anybody of opposite race. If I would have said, honestly, I don't like Mexican girls, but you're the exception. It's just like, that's such a negative way to view.
It's very ignorant.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of times when you do get people who are like that, they're the ones who have like the racist family members who are then going to poison the kid, you know? It's like you bring a kid in because you like one person, but there's all these other things that go into it, you know? It's crazy. And I think a lot of times people are afraid of what they don't understand. And with that being said, I mean, like with this whole situation going on with George Floyd, what's his name? George Floyd, rest in peace. You know, we're praying for them. It's unfortunate just constantly seeing what's happening between these cops and these black people, you know?
Men.
Yeah, I don't know. No, because women, it's happening.
But you mainly see it with men.
It's like because of, I don't know what they're taught in these academies or something like that, but there's clearly like a stigma or something that there's something that obviously you have to learn to profile people, not racial profile. You have to know how to profile somebody so that if random person walks in and he's acting crazy, you can be on your guard so you know what to do, you know? But it just seems like they're so irresponsible in the way that they handle these situations. The guy kneeling on the dude's neck the entire time. It's like,
and
okay.
then having like a bunch of other cops there not doing anything, just
Yeah, it's like
being okay with what's happening.
Yes, it's almost like he was trying to exert his authority in order to teach him a lesson. But in that, he ended up literally taking a life, you know? And I think
over a check. I thought it was, you said,
I don't know.
It was somebody called the cops on him because they said they thought he was like
cashing a bad check or something.
Yeah. Isn't that sad that he lost his life over that?
Yeah.
That is so sad.
Yeah. It's like, why? Like, they literally have this. I think, and honestly, I think it's just a cultural, it's an American thing for sure. Because when I went to Spain, I didn't see no black dudes with hoodies. So I was like, I'm good. I could have got killed out there. But because I don't see no black people in hoodies, America literally brainwashed me into thinking that this is what it means to be bad. This is what it means to be violent. Be on your guard against these type of people.
And looking like this.
Yeah. So it's like when cops see this dude, regardless of what it is, I also think that they don't care, and they're not delicate. They're not delicate with it. Because if that was a white person, they would have been more delicate with the situation.
Oh yeah.
And it's like in every single one of these things, whenever these white kids shoot up a school, shoot up a church, they get arrested if they don't kill themselves. You know, they get arrested and they actually go through the trial and stuff like that after murdering people. But then black people, it's like, because of they're just not taught to be delicate with everybody. It's, you know, against these people, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to try to talk like this. So you have to handle them like really fiercely. It ends up in the results of lost life, you know? And I just think it sucks that I really think it's just heartbreaking the fact that, like we said earlier, in our own race, we have divides, and there's people who we love, there's people who we hate, there's people we think we're better than, but also opposite races look at us and say the exact same thing. There's certain black people that they like. There's certain black people that they don't like. It's like, if we don't at least love ourselves and love each other, we're going to constantly be divided, because then there's other people who are not a part of our race who are going to feel the exact same way, you know? They're going to be dividing us. So if we're hated by them, we could at least love ourselves, you know? And that goes for like all minorities. Because like you said, if class is a means of dividing you guys, if you guys are all being told, go back to your country, we're getting the worst of the worst, yada, yada, yada. It's like the people who aren't the worst of the worst, who are doing good, who are educated, they're looking down at the janitors and stuff like that and being like, oh, well, yeah, you guys get yourself together. You know, but there just has to be a love so that we can embrace each other, because if another race, for whatever reason, has an innate hate for us, at least we know that we have enough love to really conquer that, you know? I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know, because even with what happened with Ahmaud Arbery a couple months ago, so it's like literally just for your skin color.
Yeah.
Like people there's hate, there's like people they don't treat us the same way that they would treat somebody of a different skin color. You know, and that's really what it comes down to. Whether you hate them or not, they're not delicate with us.
Yeah. And that's why I, like, a lot of people are saying, like, and a lot of us are saying that the best way to fight this, because I was telling you earlier, I'm like, this is so devastating that so many lives have to be lost, like this, because of your skin color. Like, and I'm like, it's not the first time that it's happened. It's happened so many times, and it's really sad that it becomes a big deal, and then people forget about it. It becomes a big deal because someone dies again, and people forget about it. And it's like, this is just so devastating. Like, it literally makes me want to cry just thinking about it, because, I mean, you're black, and seeing, like, at first when I met you, and you'd be like, I don't want to drive around here, like, because, and I just thought it was funny. You'd be like, because there's a lot of cops around here and it's late, and at first I thought it was like, I was like, is he joking? But the fact that my husband, that you're not joking, my husband literally sometimes, my husband, someone so close to me, can feel like that. And the fact that, you know, we're going to have kids, and I mean, we're having kids and stuff like that, that can be my son, or, you know, my daughter, that can be treated a certain way. It's so heartbreaking, and it's so sad that we're dealing with something like this right now in these times. And, I think the best way we can fight that is by teaching our kids, teaching the generations that are growing, teaching our children, and educating each other. On teach them
it sucks.
how to be decent human beings.
It's really disappointing. It's really disappointing that we had a black president, and while he was president, we that's when we saw like all these new videos of black people getting killed by cops. Like before that, before like Trayvon Martin and stuff like that, in this new wave of the last 8 years, it was like Rodney King in the 90s. He got killed by a cop. It was a huge uproar. Then the LA riots happened and stuff like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it sucks because at this point, it does feel like a hopeless battle. Because like, at least if we had the president could say, you know what, we're going to change up the way we do this or whatever, and it actually happened, it'd be like, yes, you know, like finally there's going to be something that's going to happen. But because whether he tried or didn't try or whatever happened, this is still where we're at, you know. 4 years after he was done his presidency, we're still in the same position. And it just sucks because it just makes you feel kind of like tired, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it really going to take? Like, what is it really going to take for them to realize that we're humans? So the same way you guys want us to be delicate with dogs, they're not even as delicate with us as they are that they would be with dogs.
For real, yeah.
You know, like
I've seen, there's been so many videos, and not that I'm hating on them or whatever, because it's great that they do that, but it's like, that's so true. There's so many videos of cops being heroes, you know, because they saved a puppy from, I don't know, his leg was caught on something, or a cat, or they, you know what I'm saying? It's really, really, really sad.
Yeah, and I think that's really what it is. Honestly, it's just being delicate and mindful of the individual.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even know if I can't even blame it on racism, because they could be cops who they're not even racist. No racist bone in the body. But because they're taught not to be gentle with this particular group of people, it causes them to kill us, you know, and all that stuff. Because I'm not even talking about the Ahmaud Arbery thing was straight racism.
And I don't think all cops are like that.
All cops aren't racist. That's what I'm saying. But it's like the physicality of dealing with black people is just different.
Yeah.
There's just, in all these videos and all these cops who keep killing the black kids, it's just the physicality and the way that they deal with it.
Right.
It's just different.
And you'd think that those cops that are like that do that, you would think that after seeing what happened, or maybe because it doesn't happen to the other cops who have done stuff like this, they wouldn't want to be, they wouldn't want to place themselves in this situation. But we keep seeing it. It's like,
it sucks.
What do they not think that there's cameras? Like, they see that there's cameras everywhere there. Like, there's people everywhere that were trying to, and then they were just threatened to be pepper sprayed. Like the people that were like, yo, like, let's help him out, like leave him, like how, like, you know, are you listening to him? They were like, back off, we're gonna pepper spray you guys. Pretty much that's what they were saying.
So
it's like, I don't know how this still keeps happening. It's crazy. Like, I can't, because
there's been an awareness of the protection that they have. The homie said, so with Rodney King, right? He got killed by a cop on camera. It became this huge thing. The cops got off. The family of Rodney King got money. So he said, growing up in Compton, which is where Rodney King got killed, or no, in L.A. He got killed somewhere in L.A. But growing up in Compton, one time some cops pulled him over and was like, y'all, you need to chill out, do what I say, you know, like, I'll kill you right now. And then the government would just give your mom $250,000 and it'll be like nothing happened. So it's like, for some cops, there is that mentality of, I'm completely backed by this. So it's like, yes, sad. I don't have to be gentle with you, because if I need to take it there, I'll take it there. We'll give your family some money. Cool, you know? So I just think that I think that's the main thing that has to happen, because you need to, first of all, vet people, right? Obviously, these cops are all vetted. So if they're really that blatantly racist, at some point they have to get, they're gonna like get written up or something like that, you know? But I really think that however the training is, like, it can't promote racism inadvertently, you know? Mm-hmm. It sucks, man. Prayers go out to him. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine. It just makes me sad, because, like, with the whole cop thing, like you just said, I would just hate to get killed by a cop for no reason. Like that's where my life ends, you know? Like, everything leads up to that. How scary is that? How sad is that? Yeah. That you get pulled over and you're like, oh shoot, like, try to be on my best behavior, try to do everything right, you know what I'm saying, or try to not say anything that's gonna really just make them really angry. Because knowing that a white a white professor can get pulled over and talk to the cop however he wants to talk, but the cop is going to know, okay, this isn't going to progress. But for a black guy, it's like automatically he's just ready, you know, like, okay, just in case he might go crazy.
Let me get my camera. Like, that's what I've seen too. Yeah. Because that's so sad.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. And it's like, yeah. And it's like, I know a lot of good cops. I know a lot of really good cops that came to our wedding.
Yes.
They're awesome people. But it's just whatever's happening in these other places, you know. Actually, in a couple years ago, there was actually a black guy who got shot by cops out here. But the way it was handled was different. Like, he was waving a gun at them. You know, they didn't know what was going on, but they were like, the way they handled it was all right, you know. Like, it sucked. The situation was really messed up. But there's other people who, like, it seemed like a lot of, in these other places, there's like almost little to no remorse, you know. So this is like I feel like this is probably the first time where the cops have even been like fired for this, you know. So we didn't want to go on a rant about that. And it's like I said, not all cops are bad cops. And racism, I think racism might be the underlying as far as the training, maybe, because it's like maybe they're utilizing laws and rules that they kind of like started in the foundation of, you know, cops may have been back in the 1800s or whatever. So they just keep building on that foundation. But you know, I love all my coworkers and stuff like that and my cops. So I just think there just needs to be a certain level of delicacy. And also, the sheriff's office, they have the least amount of problems because before you can go and become a cop, you have to be in the jail for like 4 years at least. So then you learn the culture of these people who you've never met before, you know? So versus growing up all around all white people, then being out on the field and all of a sudden you meet your first black person who, you know how black people are. We're loud, we laugh, we joke, we say stuff. But being in a jail, you understand, he's not aggressive. This dude is on crack. You know, he's just getting off crack. So I'm not going to handle him. I don't have to take my gun out because I can handle him a certain kind of way, you know. So it's like the sheriff's office is cool that they have that, you know. It just enables them to have a better understanding of people. Other people, yeah. Yeah, last thing I want to talk about real quick, and then we can, man, this is going to be a long one. Okay, so Joe Biden. He said, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. What are your thoughts on this?
No comment.
That's hilarious. I'm not voting for Joe Biden just because I'm black. And I'm not voting for Trump either. Because I don't want to be responsible for any damage that they do to the world. So, I know you guys are going to get mad at me. Every vote counts. Kind of. But really, it's like the delegates, and then it's,
yeah.
I don't know, but I just think it's so funny how I don't want to get too deep into politics, but it's like people feel entitled to our vote, you know, for whatever reason, because that's how Hillary Clinton was. Super entitled, and she ended up losing. And that's all I'm going to get on politics because you know what? Because Republicans and Democrats support us, and I love everybody. That's why I'm not choosing sides. We're selfish, which means I love me and I love you. I love red and blue, you know.
Yep.
Outside of that, it's going to be a really entertaining, like, race. Because they're basically the same person except blue and red. Anyways. And y'all can no cap on that one. Okay, so we're about to head out. You have any last things? Once again, shout outs to everybody who's supporting us, everybody who's watching us. Pre-orders next Friday. We're really excited about that. Shout outs to Teeny, Jennifer, all the models, our in-laws, mom and dad. We appreciate you guys, like everybody who's supporting us. It means the world to us.
Yes, thank you so much for all the support.
Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If not, go ahead and let us know why. And hopefully next week we have a good thing to say when we come in, because we don't know if we should call you guys Selflish Podcasters or
Selfish people, Selflish friends.
Selfless. One of those. Just let us know. All right. Peace out.